Well, as we can see today, the train of icons is not stopping because the next station of the icon train is the protagonist that I personally do not have the strongest connection, but I do like him as a character, and that is of course Shin. Shin definitely is one of the better protagonists based on a lot of people's opinion. I don't know him that well, at least in his own arc, because I wasn't actually able to focus on Vanguard during that period of time. But from the few episodes I have watched, they are pretty good, generally. But are they able to replicate or even honor the playstyle that he actually played in the show itself? And whether does a Vanguard with 70k attack actually is scary in this format? That is exactly what I'm gonna be talking about today. And let's get back to the right line quickly with Atlas of Heavenly Sphere. This unit has only 2 skills, where when this unit is placed by writing from a grade 0 card, reveal a grade 3 Cinnamon icon card from your deck. Until the end of the fight, you cannot write grade 3 or greater card without Cinnamon icon, but you can have Astral Plane Gauge. And then when this unit is rolled upon by a grade 2 card, you may put this card face down as your Astral Plane Gauge, and if you do, you can Soul Charge 1. This is the first time we see a unit that actually have multiple skills on a Vanguard that is fully tied to the right line mechanic itself, and it is a must to be done because for one, this allows you to have Astral Gauge, which is essentially allow you to lead into Astral Plane, which is the main mechanic of this deck, and of course you have the card that started the gauge to begin with. It is not terrible per se, but I want something a little bit more cool when it comes to the way to summon Astral Plane Gauge instead of just, you lock it out like this. Just a personal opinion though. As the next in the right line, Prometheus of Dancing Light is great card. As when rolled upon by grade 3 card with Cinnamon icon, you can look at top 3 card of your deck, choose a card from among them, put it into your hand, and choose one of them and put it into your soul, and the last one into the bottom of the deck in any order. This card is essentially a Bifrost. Bifrost is good, so I'm not gonna go into much too detail of this skill, but having ability to put card into soul is actually heavily matter for the way the main boss of Cinnamon, Gleaming Lord Uranus, actually works. As first off, no right on this card by grade 3 with Cinnamon icon also become a personal right, and then Omega Circle, your back row center circle became an Astral Plane, and during your turn, if your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you have 3 or more Astral Plane Gauge, your front row unit get additional 5k, and then act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, choose up to 2 cards from your drop and choose a card from among them and put it face down as your Astral Plane Gauge, and choose a card from among them and call it to Vanguard Circle. So just to be clear, Uranus do not have a revive skill originally, and giving additional revive to Uranus gives it so much utility, and at the same time maybe a nod to a certain unit based on the plot of the show, because of the fact that you can superior call any card back from your drop, not Cinnamon icon. So this means that you can actually call back cards like Sega on, Ready Limb, and any other generic to triggers that skill. That is how powerful the revive actually is. And you may be wondering how all this case gonna actually matters for the deck itself. Well, it would be an insult to talking about Uranus and not mentioning the very thing he summoned, the naked Ultraman himself, Giant Deity of Distant World, Valkyrion. This card have 4 abilities, where for one, it cannot be ridden, it cannot be standby card abilities, and if your Vanguard does not have Cinnamon icon, this card rate becomes 0 and its original power also becomes 0. And then while in drop zone, this card also cannot be chosen by your opponent card's effect. And then when on a non-Astral Plane circle, retire this unit. If it could not be retired, remove it. And then finally, something actually useful for the unit. When placed on Astral Plane and you have 5 or more Astral Plane Gauge, look at top 5 cards of your deck, choose 1 card from among them, discard it, and shuffle the deck. If you discard a Keter Sanctuary, until the end of turn, this unit drive became the same as the grade of the discarded card. So before we continue with Valkyrion here, since he's just a vanilla that can check up to 5 times with a 70k body, there is something I have to mention first. Grey Elemental is technically Keter Sanctuary, so quintuplet drive on Valkyrion, this is not lost by the ruling in itself. And nothing else much to say about Valkyrion. I mean, it's a fucking big boy that can check multiple times up to 5, and it is still more or less the same. Though from what I know, it also has some interesting interaction with one of the new manga boss unit that can use him as a very chunky regard as well. Definitely some fun interaction that I'm glad they kind of keep it just for now. But overall, I do think Uranus as a bait is strong. It more or less play the same, with the only negative is that you lost the force marker, and I'll say this now, I don't like force markers and it is deserved to be removed. Though the gauge is a little bit lazy way to kind of handle the situation, but I can see where they're going with this. And you also might be noticing that if it's just Uranus alone, you might not be able to hit 5 fast enough. Well, we do have another grade 3 that came up with Uranus, and that is of course the PG Dragon, Quaking Heavily Dragon, Astarios Dragon. This unit has more or less the same icon skill as Cinnamon with the personal right, and 4 additional skill, where when this unit is placed on Vanguard or Vanguard Circle, if your other unit with the same card name as this unit was not placed this turn, choose a card from your drop and put it face down as your astral plane gauge. Then, if you have 4 more astral plane gauge, counterblast 1 to draw additional card. And then on Vanguard, your back row become astral plane, and then Vanguard or Vanguard, when the card revealed by drive share of your Valkyrion is put into soul, this unit get additional plus 2k until end of turn. And then last but not least, when your card is put into deck from astral plane, you may put this unit into soul to draw a card. This card gets stronger the more you can drive shape with Valkyrion. As of now, it gets maximum plus 10k, which is not that strong, especially you not getting that additional 10k coming from Astarios skill. But multiple draws in a turn is really nice for a deck that do need quite a lot of piece to get it going to an extent. A little bit of a shame that it doesn't really have the entire of its original version copied, but you know what, multiple PG has been a mistake for BANCHOU lately, so it is what it is. Moving from Astarios Dragon, we have Phosphorus Auspicious Light. This unit has 2 skill, where when placed on Vanguard Circle from your hand, if you have Cinnamon icon Vanguard, Energy Blast 3, look at top 7 card of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or greater card with Cinnamon icon from among them, review it and put into hand and shuffle the deck. And then with this unit attack, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Cinnamon icon and your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it get additional 5k. The first skill is where the mid step, because this is where you are able to fetch into Astarios and Valkyrion just to help to generate more gauge if needed, and at the same time it also helps you to fetch for personal right, which in my humble opinion is very important. Anyway, let's move on to more support as we have 2 more to talk about with Asteria of the Full Heaven. This unit had 3 skill, where when it is placed on drop by ability of your card with Cinnamon icon and you do not have a red card with the same name as this card, you can counter blast 1 to call this card to Vanguard Circle, and then at the end of battle this unit boosted, so blast 2 and return this unit back to your hand. And if you have a Vanguard with Cinnamon icon, this unit get power plus 10k shield. This card is one of the few ways this deck is soul blasting out the excess soul generated by Valkyrion, and it has a very good skill as not only it's able to revive itself back from drop, it bounces itself back to hand, turning itself into 15k and loop itself over and over again. It is a very nice skill, and I kind of hope that they do more of this with not just generic but maybe something along the line of certain deck have something similar to it as well. And its ability to revive from drop is very good because this allows Uranus to essentially plus 2 instead of plus 1 with his Soul Blast 2 skill. And then last but definitely the least, because in most of the build I see they're not running this card, as we have Deputized. Yeah, really I don't remember this card. This unit only have 1 skill, where when placed on Vanguard Circle, if you have Cinnamon icon Vanguard, look at top 7 card of your deck, choose up to 1 Cinnamon icon card without Sentinel from among them, review it and put it into your hand and shuffle the deck. If you review a card, choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. I can see what they're trying to go for. More searcher for the deck is good, but at the same time, Uranus doesn't really have the biggest of the hand size, at least until you have 4 gauge. Then you can start drawing more with Astarios. So having a card that helps you to search early is good, but a bit useless if you are losing a card in your soul. And let's be real here, I rather have Nebula Knight, just purely because it helps you to spirit call more cards that is not just Cinnamon icon cards. But how is the deck overall? The deck plays more or less the same as the original, but the additional utility of being able to revive any card from drop really helps the deck a lot, as not only it helps you to generate astral plane a lot more consistently, it also helps you to build back ideal board if needed too. And of course, Valkyrion being a big boy with up to 5 drive is still insane regardless. The problem with this deck though is the fact that it kind of hard builded into a turn 4 deck because of how fast you can build the gauge. This is not a bad thing, but it can be a little bit annoying because your opponent can just take it like a champ unless you hit triggers earlier on. And this might not be a huge issue at the time of recording, but I do see it as a problem nonetheless, is that the deck can speed up that deck out quite a little bit, just purely due to the fact that some of the card that you do want to run does speed up that process a lot, and the deck itself also speed run decking out quite a bit thanks to Valkyrion. So this deck is literally, if you don't check the right card at the right timing, you are just screwed. Simple as that, which is kind of like what Uranus was as well. And that's Cinnamon icon Uranus. Personally for me, aside from the replacement of force marker to a slightly more boring mechanic, I think think they handle it well, even if it is boring. But what do you guys think? Does Uranus actually became what you imagine it is? Or it just feel more fun to use Valkyrians in the more degenerative ways, like with Nox, for example? Tell me in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to sub and become a member for some cool perks. This is Mac Megane signing out.